Congratulations are in order.
Just check that button, please.
The Truth with Gwen Azama-Edwards, every Thursday at 6:15 on Goliath Radio. Gwen Azama-Edwards, retired city clerk, former city commissioner, city of Daytona Beach. The Truth with Gwen Azama-Edwards on Goliath Radio.
Welcome to Truth, a radio program designed with you in mind, a program whose sole purpose is to empower you, our listeners, for information leads to knowledge, and knowledge is power. And as always, I want to empower you to take control of your life, those things that impact you, your family, and your community. As always, too, we want you to go to the website at www.gwen-truth.com so you can access those resource listings that will make you all powerful. All powerful. As always, too, I want you to go to that website and take part in a query that we have going. And as I had promised, we have changed that query. We are now, by the way, on the last query, I was asking you guys about whether Medicare, the age that you can sign up for Medicare, should be changed from 65 to 67. And believe it or not, most of you said yes. Most of you said yes. Now we're asking about the public employee situation, where we know that there are many, there really aren't a whole bunch, but there are several public employees who do retire, and they retire at a much higher rate with a much larger salary than so many of you who are in the private sector, especially in our area. And the query, which is on the website, www.gwen-truth.com, is asking you whether or not you feel it's right for them to really, on your dime, draw a large retirement benefit in terms of their pension. So go to the website so you can chime in on that. As has been stated, I'm Gwen Azama-Edwards, former city commissioner, retired city clerk, city of Daytona Beach, and president and CEO of AE Enterprises, Inc., a consulting firm on politics and ethics. We actually have split guests tonight. And the first guest, and why everyone's here, we do have our guests from O's Hall, the Samaritan Center, and I will be introducing them. And but we also have a young lady here that I'm trying to double record, who's here from Bethune-Cookman University, and she is a winner. She is a winner. So I was just so happy to have her on for the first few minutes of our show so that we could applaud her and have you guys, our listeners, applaud her and her accomplishment as well. I'm sure you saw a write-up in, I know, Daytona Times, and perhaps something, I know something went out too from Bethune-Cookman, their E-News, and perhaps to the News Journal. But this young lady participated representing Bethune-Cookman University, and she participated in a college bowl. And it's an annual bowl, from what I gather, that Ford puts on. And she participated. She was one of 12 African-American universities that participated, that had participants. And she, of course, participated representing Bethune-Cookman University. You know, Bethune won. So through her, they won. And she participated, and it is a bowl that asks questions about African-American history. So her name is, of course, and if you can help me with this, I know the last name is Charles, and the first name is Katrina. And I almost feel like asking you because I know a lady who was a principal in our area. Her name is Jessie Childs. Are you familiar with Jessie Childs?
Oh, no.
Okay, yes.
How about Clarence Childs?
Yes, so Clarence Childs. He used to be dean of Bethune-Cookman University. Okay, you're not related to them. That's okay, but at least I know how to pronounce your name because of that. But Katrina, tell us a little bit about the preparation for, first, what you won, you know, the title, and you don't have to name all the money. She did get a nice little penny toward her studies at Bethune-Cookman as a result of being the first place winner. But tell us a little bit about, you know, your preparation, your what you won, your preparation, and all of that.
Well, I was one of 4 first place winners to receive the honor of winning the 7th annual Black College Quiz Bowl, and preparing for it was a challenge. They provide us with the information, so basically what they wanted us to do is, you know, look through the facts and remember certain dates and names and accomplishments from various African Americans around the country, as well as in different countries. And it was just a rewarding experience because although it was like a quiz bowl, it helped me to learn a lot about my people that I didn't know before. So in addition to it being fun, it was also very educational at the same time.
Wonderful. And now this is an annual event, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And there were 12 historically black universities that participated. Did each of them have a representative?
Yes, they did.
Okay, and I'm sure you were proud to represent Bethune-Cookman University, you know, representing Dr. Mary McLeod Bethune and the university that she started with $1.25 and 5 little girls. You know, we all know that history, but it is a fabulous university, and you're a fabulous representative. And did you have to do a lot in preparation for?
Well, when I first received the materials to study, I just asked my friends to help me, you know, whenever I had free time. I say, can you help me look at this real quick or quiz me on this? So I had about a month and a half to prepare, so it was enough time for me to, you know, go through the book and see what stuff I need to know to prepare for it. So.
Now let me ask you, you said you did learn a lot about the African American heritage and the like, more than you had known previously.
Yes.
But during your studies, is that something that was a part of any of your studies at Bethune-Cookman?
Some of it was, but the majority of it, to me, it seemed as if it almost focused on those names that we don't talk about a lot. So it was like, for me, it was rewarding to see about the different journalists and writers and things like that, as opposed to entertainers that we always see. It was really nice to see there are more than just those entertainers that are doing a lot in our community. So it was a rewarding experience to just see about the other types of fields that we are accomplishing.
Can you rattle any of those off? See, I'm going to put you in a little quiz.
The only one that really comes to mind is Miss Gwen, and she's a journalist, and I know she worked on the PBS NewsHour. So it's just things like that, like how so much has been done, like as far as news and writing and even the athletics, because one specific category was the Olympics. So it was just really, it was like I said, it was rewarding just knowing, you know, we are more than just athleticism and you know. So.
And she did get a few. I'm not going to name the amount because we don't want you to be attacked or anything. But she did get a few thousand toward her studies. So it sounded like in your studying then in preparation, you learned a lot, and through the experience you learned a lot. And I would suppose that there was an opportunity for you to get to know the other individuals from the other universities that were involved as well.
It was a weekend trip at Spelman College in Atlanta, Georgia, and aside from the shooting of the show, we spent some time outside in the hotel because we all stayed in the same hotel. So you know, we spent some time in the lobby, went out and explored Atlanta a little bit. So it was a nice bonding moment as well. So I met some new friends, and we keep in contact even today. So it's nice to, you know, see other HBCU students who are continuing their education and trying to, you know, better the world that we're in today.
Now tell us, Katrina, now what year are you in, and what is your major?
I am a senior. I'm not graduating this semester, but I'm a senior, and I am double majoring in social science education and theater arts performance. All
right. So you get your first show here, and I apologize for those that will end up watching this because the lighting is not super well in here, but she is a beautiful young lady, so don't go by what you see, okay? And not only that, you really have done well, not only representing and winning the award that you won, but in coming on this show too. You're a great representative. Don't you agree, young ladies? I would call them young ladies too. And this, of course, is Valentine's Day, so we wish you a happy Valentine's Day, and we wish you much success. Now, in terms of others participating in this, what do they have to do?
Well, each school it has to be nominated by Central City Productions, which is the production company that hosts the event, and then from there the school nominates a representative from their school to represent them in the competition.
Okay, and of course, then once someone is chosen, then you talked a little bit about the preparation, but how much time do you have to prepare?
About a month and a half, and then the coach they have like an advisor or a coach that helps the student. They have time together to prepare as well as from outside. Like I said, I use my friends to help me. So just you have time and people that are around you that can help you.
Oh, okay, all right. And for those who may be interested, what would be your advice to them?
Study up and practice good time management skills. So, yeah.
And last two questions. For those who are considering going to a university, let's hear some bragging rights about Bethune-Cookman University.
Well, I'll start with our new president, our interim president, Dr. Edison Jackson. He's done a phenomenal job over the past 6 months that he's been here, and everyone at our school, from the faculty to the students, are just blown away at what he's done with our university. And everyone knows about our great football team and the different athletics. Our baseball team is won so many years. And in addition to our different programs, our nursing program has had its accreditation for a number of years. And it's really, being at an HBCU is a great experience for me. So I like to tell people that Bethune-Cookman wasn't my first choice, but it's the best choice I've made so far in my life.
Oh, great quote. Wasn't your first choice, but it was the best choice you've made in your life. And last question, what do you plan to do upon graduation?
I would like to move to New York or Washington, D.C. and teach for a few years while I'm trying to, find out what I want to do in the theater field. And hopefully one day I would like to be the Secretary of Education for the United States.
Wow, okay. Whoever's in that position now, look out, look out. Well, thank you again. Again, this is Katrina Childs. And what is the title how do they couch that? The title of what you won?
I would just say a first place winner in the Black College Quiz Bowl.
Okay. And she says that, then she just, kind of say it again so everyone understands. You are
one of the first place winners for the Black College Quiz Bowl.
And you are representing
Bethune-Cookman University.
The great Bethune-Cookman University. Applause, applause, applause. Thank you again for coming on at the last minute, and I do appreciate it, and I will be sending this and sharing this with Bethune-Cookman. Thank you again. We appreciate you so much. All right, thank you again. Got it on that, and I'm hoping that I didn't block you on the other two, so thank you, because I know you have to go back and do whatever it is, and I do appreciate these ladies. We do thank them for allowing you to come on and take some of their time. So much success, Katrina. I'm sure I see you when I'm on campus. Take care. Okay, now our other guests, as I mentioned, are representatives of the Olds Hall Good Samaritan Center. And guys, by the way, for our listeners, I have served on the advisory board for Olds Hall, and we're always looking for, I'll put in this plug, always looking for new members of our advisory board. But I've served on the board for a good 5 or 6 years. I also used to have a reading program at Olds Hall Good Samaritan Center. They could always use volunteers also who could go and share with the individuals who reside at the center. It is a great, great, awesome place, and I have said to my family that if I ever get to the point where, they can't keep me at home or whatever, that this is where I want to go. This is where I want to go, because this is, as far as I know, it's the only Christian facility, right?
The only faith-based in Volusia County, yes.
Okay, yes, I've said that, and that is the way I have shared that with individuals as well. If you two would introduce yourselves to our listening audience, and I'm going to make sure that this the video that we're doing on this is properly situated.
My name is Char Barron. I do resource development and community relations with Good Samaritan Society, and I've been there for about 4 years. I've had 2 of my family members in there, and it's a good place. It's a great place. A lot of people call it home.
An awesome, awesome place.
Okay, my name is Leona Tinky. I am the administrator. I've been the administrator now since October of 2012. Prior to that, I was at our Kissimmee facility. The Good Samaritan Society operates down in Kissimmee, Florida. And I still live in Orlando. I just drive back and forth every day.
All right, and an awesome, awesome administrator. I know you've only been here a short time, but we're all saying that. So we're all very, very pleased to have you there. And you know, there are some people, I'm sure, who they hear O's and they think of the O's automobile. And then there's a history to that, right?
Yes, there is. Actually, if you don't mind, I was going to kind of start a little bit
Oh,
of history
sure.
about Good Sam and then how
Wonderful.
it looks into the Old Hall. But actually, the Evangelical Lutheran Good Samaritan Society is the overarching company, if you will. It is a not-for-profit. We celebrated 90 years of being in operation last September 2012.
And I've seen some of the commercials that have been on TV recently.
Yeah, and a gentleman by the name of Dad Hager, he was actually a pastor, a Lutheran pastor. He started the whole thing back in 1922, and originally it was for children because there were a lot of disabled children and what they referred to as, at that time, children with mental their mental capacities are not high. Basically, when you read the history, these were children that had epilepsy and things like that. So I think back then they really weren't sure how to deal with them, so they kind of tagged them. But he actually created a home they could go to. There were 2 ladies that worked with him. They carried the children up and down the steps. They rented a home that they had for $20 a month. And by about the first year it was in operation, it had expanded from children to young adults. And over time, he hooked up with other ministers in the area, and they created a society, which then they had a little bit of a friction, and he went off on his own and created the Evangelical Lutheran Good Samaritan Society. But he was always very, very into helping people. And what they went from that one home in 1922, by 1955 they had 47 facilities. Most of them were always rural. They were tended to be very small facilities. So even though there were 47, they only had 1,200 people in that whole group. By 1968, they were up to having 40. I'm sorry. By 1968, they had expanded to 17 states. They had 200, and currently we have 240 locations, and we take care of 27,000 people. So we've expanded a lot. It's gotten a lot larger than his dream. I've had the pleasure of meeting his son, who actually resides at our facility in Kissimmee, and his daughter, who's also there.
Wonderful.
So it's interesting to talk to them and how they got involved. Many other non-for-profit facilities knew they were there, and so if for some reason they wanted to sell or deed their property over, they would often call them and turn it into our organization, and that's exactly what happened with Old Hall. As you're probably very familiar, it started out as a luxury hotel, and that was also back in the early 20s, 1920s, and from there, I think it was around 1940, it was turned into some mini apartments, and they started calling it the Daytona, let me find it here, yeah, Daytona Terrace Hotel. But they only had that for about 2 years, and 2 years later, in 1942, is when they sold it to the Olds family. The Olds family saw it as a terrific opportunity, since all of these apartments were already made and everything was set up to just start using, to use it for retiring ministers and missionaries. So that's what they did. They turned it into that sort of a facility. So over time, you could see how it really tied into Good Samaritan becoming involved with it, as they actually turned it over to us in, I want to say it was in 1971. And in between that time, in 1950, is when they built the annex, which is the building you see, if you're looking straight at the hotel, it's the building you see off to the right. So that was actually built in 1950 for 24 apartments to have a dining room in the basement, exactly as we have it today. And so there is a lot of history there. And I often look at it as it's sort of the past meets the future sort of thing, because of the many different things that we provide now on that campus.
And there is that continuing thread, however, in terms of the caring, because in your historical looking back, I could hear that it was started based on concern and caring starting with the children and then moving up to older adults in the life, and a giving back. You know, really when I think of Oaks Hall Good Samaritan Center Society, I really and truly just think of God and God's love, and it being a Christian operation as well. It just, I can't get that out of my head or out of my mind, and I keep it in my heart in terms of the facilities, because there's just so much love that goes on. There's so much love that's in it, and there's so much love that goes on in terms of the care that's given by those who work for you and with you. And I'm not just saying that to say it. Like I said, I've had the reading program there. I've gone there for various activities and the like. And people that are there are just well cared for. They truly are. You have good staff. Yes.
I think we do too.
Caring staff.
We do. It's a lot of that is based on our what we call our hallmark values.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not talking about cards. I know it's Valentine's Day. It's a different kind of hallmark value. And there's 4 of them. It's Christ-centered, resident-centered, staff-centered, and community-centered.
Mm-hmm.
So everything we do, we relate to those 4 things. And that's really key for us, because it's important for us to be a part of the community. And I think in our evaluation, we recently had a number of strategic planning sessions with the managers there at the facility. And as we did that, you know, we said we really have not been meeting some of the values that we've been asked to do through these 4 hallmark values. And so it's our plan, and we have plans in place to do that. We need to become more active in the community. We are a very integral part of what happens in that downtown area.
Mm-hmm.
We're right across from City Hall.
Right.
If you can't find us, we're right across from City Hall, and right next to the Firestone. Everyone knows where the Firestone is. So we really need to be part of that downtown merchants, if you will,
Mm-hmm.
because we provide a service, and a very valuable service to that area. Even though there are multiple other facilities around us, we have been able to become a 4-star facility. We had a survey. The state surveys us every year. We just had a survey December, it was early December.
Mm-hmm.
And we did very well, and we're now a 4-star facility, which is a rating that's provided through CMS that is a way for folks who are looking for placement, whether it's long-term, short-term, respite. It just gives you an idea of what kind of quality of care is provided there, is told by the stars. And so we're very happy to be in a 4-star. The highest you can get is a 5. That's our goal for next year, and we've already started working on that. But we have a number of different levels of care that are provided in that basic city block, if you will. We have in Olds Hall, which I always refer to as the hotel, and it's probably not the name, but it still to me is the hotel, and it is sort of our dream at this point to bring certain aspects of the 1920s look back to the hotel. Over time, even though it's a historic building, it's kind of lost that 1920s look. So we're looking to do some more of that over the next few months and into the summer, to try to do some different things in the lobby, some of the outside landscaping, things like that, to make it look different. Do some painting of some buildings and sort of bring those up to a different level. But in that particular hotel, what we have are apartments, and it's for independent living. And so the folks that are there are pretty much just in a secured building. It does have a security system to it. And we're there to support them through their rent that they pay each month. They do get 1 meal a day. And we keep an eye on them, but keep a respectful distance, as the fact that we know they're independent. And they really don't want us nibbling around too much. But we provide that support of them knowing someone's there. And with the 1 meal a day, you get to kind of keep track of folks as they're coming and going. You know, no one's, have they been down today, you know, that sort of thing, which is, I think, very helpful for families to know as well.
And is there an age requirement?
They have to be 55 years or older.
Okay.
We are a 55 or older community, so that is a requirement. And I think that the one other thing we're doing in that building right now is we're starting to do some apartment renovations. We're starting with 5 apartments first. We're literally gutting the apartments. And in doing that, one of the interesting things we found was a beautiful wood floor under carpet. And so we're buffing that down and seeing if there's any way we can actually use the wood floor. I mean, we really want to make it a different kind of apartment experience. I think you can go to multiple places around Daytona, South Daytona, Ormond Beach, wherever, and you can get into 55 and older housing. And no matter whether it was built in the 70s or on up, it's pretty much square and looks all alike. We're looking more for someone who likes that little bit of something different. Because in the first floor, the ceilings are approximately 18 feet high. They're really high. Now, as you get to the other floors, they're more normal height, but so there's some beautiful architecture in these apartments, and that's the uniqueness of them that I think we offer that other places do not.
For some of the locals, they remember the elevator. We talked elevator for a long time. The elevator was from 1922, and that was just replaced. And that's been a real plus. So you have to go modern in some respects, but you want to keep the quaintness of it too. And I think another thing that we do, Lee mentioned that we kind of look after these people, which we do. You can have your loved one live independently. They may not have a car, but once a week we go to Walmart. Once a week we take a bus to Publix. We go to restaurants. We have outings, and they can choose to participate or not. And I don't think that happens anywhere else.
And I know you do, because sometimes I'd have my reading programs and I'd look around for someone who's usually there who wasn't there, and they said, oh no, I had to go to, I went to Walmart, I went shopping, I went this and that and the other. And every so often, I think they would, we had the cruises, some of them would actually sign up for the cruises to go on that as well.
Yes, they did.
I mean, they had a ball. They just continually had a ball. Sometimes I wanted to kind of go with them too.
Well, there are some people in those apartments that are in their 90s, and there's not very many places that you can live independently and feel like you're doing everything by yourself, and still you have somebody looking over your shoulder and you're being cared for.
Absolutely. And there are tours available if someone wants to come and tour any of these facilities, right?
Absolutely.
Yes, we actually have a number of people that can assist you on a tour. We do have, of course, a designated staff that helps with coordination of all that sort of thing, but any of the managers that are there can take people on a tour and offer them information. We even have some folks that are non-managers that do that for us, because we know that when folks stop by, that's the time they can do it.
Right.
And that we have to fit that into their schedule and make it something that works for them. So we do that.
The meals are scrumptious too. Just a few times I've had the opportunity of that as well. And you also have, what are some other services, facilities that are there on that campus? And I know you have at least one other campus too.
We also have, in what I was referring to as the annex, when they built that in 1950 for the 24 apartments, that's where our assisted living is. Now the really different thing about that is we have this 1950 building, and they built it basically to be these apartments. And we have something in our facility, in our assisted living, called Living Well at Home. It's a system of sensors that are in all of the rooms, bathroom, living room, dining room, every room in the apartment. And it cannot visually see you, but these sensors can tell us if you're sleeping, if you're awake, if you've left your room, if you're, when the door opens and closes, if you are getting up maybe multiple times during the night, we can tell that. If you're in the shower, if you're actually taking a shower. So it tells us a lot of things. Now you might think, wow, that's pretty invasive. But the idea behind it is, many times folks that are in assisted living in our environment today are the people that, when I started in nursing 40-some years ago, or the folks that were in nursing homes. So many of our folks that are in assisted living really have a higher level of care than previously. So, for example, if I can tell that someone's getting up 4 or 5 times a night, I can start asking them questions like, are you getting up to urinate, for example? Maybe you have a UTI. I know you're telling me you're taking a shower, but there's no steam that ever seems to come into your apartment. So how can we help you with that? So it's a way of monitoring so that they have a better quality of life. Are they coming in and out of their room? Because it's assisted living, and they are supposed to come after their meals, but they do have rights. So it does help us just to monitor. So it's really, again, that meld of the past meeting the future, when you have this, different kind of apartment setting with these very high-tech. We also have a monitor that's on their bed. And so we can tell what their blood pressure is, their pulse, everything, just from being in their bed.
And as I know my mom ended up staying some with myself, some with my younger sister who has a medical background, but I would have loved if she had gotten to the point where she needed help, or or she was at the point where she no longer wanted to be at home, to have had her in the facility. And there are people who say, oh, I'll never put my mother or my father in such and such and such a place, but they've never seen your place when they say that. And I know that a lot of persons like myself around our age group who are retiring and the like, who have elderly parents, and sometimes, they want to go places and do things, but they don't want to make their parents feel like, they're a burden. And this allows them to be able to put their loved ones into a facility that is going to love them, to care for them, to watch out for them, not being totally, invasive, as you were saying, but actually still monitor, and where they can feel comfortable, leaving them there. And there's an opportunity. Well, you would probably get to this because you shared this as one of our meetings, where they can actually do some communicating too. If they can't come down and physically visit that often, they can still stay in touch.
We do that through a program called Caregrams. And what that is the resident has an email address, and the family knows that email address, and so they can send pictures, emails, all kinds of things. Our staff come, they pick up the actual printed copy. We take it to the resident. The resident has the option of, like maybe writing their own letter or doing something on that. Or if they can't, they tell us and we write it for them. And then we take it back and we scan that back to the family. Wonderful. So it's really worked well. We've got the first weekend we did it, we must have had 10 families that just automatically started sending things. And so every day we're having this communication, which is really working out well. At some point, we hope to move to a place where they can actually have more of a touch screen and actually sort of do the typing themselves or whatever, or do it verbally and have it typed. But this is a good start. It's a good, because a lot of our residents are just still a little bit leery about the whole, computer thing. So they kind of like the fact that someone else is responsible for picking it up and taking it back.
Right.
So that works out. That works out very, very well.
I can remember one of your residents, and you may remember, Shirley, she was she was emailing all of the time. She was in a wheelchair, and she was actually one of the resident advisors. They actually have people who live there who also are a part of this group that watches out, monitors, etc. But she used to send out emails all the time, and I was one of the persons who used to get an email from her, because she'd always ask, what's your email address? But I can remember her and her involvement, and she actually would be involved in the community and what was going on in the community via her computer. She read a lot as well, and she would donate a lot of things that she would make and donate those to various types of organizations and the like. I also remember this couple that had been married for over 74 years, husband and wife team that lived there, and they were just an awesome couple as well. They had kids that grown up on a farm, raised their kids on the farm. They just reached a point where they just couldn't continue to care for themselves, and so they ended up at your location and just enjoyed it immensely. I think their kids ended up coming and getting them as they got closer to, I believe, the time that, because the father really was getting at a point where the mother she was one of those people that just was matronly. She just took care of everybody and everything,
Yeah. Well, I think you touched on it, Gwen. I mean, they do get a social life there.
Yes.
You're taking care of them at home like you did your mom, and that's great. But there comes a point in time when maybe it's better for them to be somewhere where they can be with people of their own age.
Absolutely.
And develop all new friends and really have a life of their own. And I know in my personal case, my mother had dementia, and we kept her at home as long as we could, and at some point she needed nursing care. She needed safety, and so she went to Good Sam, and that's where she lived, and she was happy there. At home she was frustrated, at home she was confused.
Mhm.
So we have a new program in the memory care unit now too that I'm sure Lee will mention, and it's just a better place at some point in time for some people.
And to show really the quality of care and how much all of us really appreciate it, even if my mother or parents didn't end up going there, we have people who serve on the advisory board whose parents actually participated and went to the facility, were residents there. They may have passed there as well, but they appreciated so much the care that they received while they were there that they want to come back and give back. And several have done that, either in terms of helping with the garden, the prayer garden that we have, or donating other time and serving on the advisory board and everything else. I think that speaks volumes, really, to the facility, the overall operation, and the amount of care and caregiving that goes on at O's Hall Good Samaritan Center. I don't get the correct way to say it, but I love saying O's Hall.
I think everyone, what I'm finding is that everyone who's local, that's what they know it as, is Old Halls. And so, I mean, it really doesn't matter. The only thing I have to worry about is that I have the right, business name on the license, and so that's the important thing on that. But I think what people are comfortable calling it is that's what you remember, and that's the important thing. And I think that is the other nice part of what we are, is because we are a part of the community.
Absolutely.
We have that history. We didn't just come in and build a facility. We really have a history to that facility. It's not a building that didn't mean anything. It actually means something, and we've grown with that.
Absolutely.
As Cheryl was saying, part of our healthcare center, which some people call nursing home, we prefer to call it a healthcare center, is a memory care unit. It is a secure unit. And we have begun some programming in there. We have a coordinator who is working with all of our residents, our staff, and family members if they wish, to utilize some more programmatic things, if you will. Rather than just worrying about are they eating, are they safe, and so forth, there's different ways, there's different techniques to deal with folks that have Alzheimer's. There's validation, there's a Montessori, there's brain, muscle memory, all kinds of things, and not one thing works with everybody. So we're actually have a coordinator now who's going and making sure we're using certain techniques with certain people to help them to maintain as much of their memory as they can, as long as they can,
Awesome.
or to at least be able to deal with their frustration that they have from not having the memory. What's the best way to do that? So we're starting that in our memory care unit, and we do have some residents who are not in the secured area, who are have such physical disability that they could not run out the door. And we're going to be working with them as well, because all these things would also apply with them, and kind of make it more of a program. So it's not just a matter of, well, mom can't remember anymore, so we're going to put her there so they feed her.
And they're entitled to a life.
Yeah.
You see so many places where they just sit,
Yes.
and that's not a life, and we want them to live.
That's very important to us. We also have a short-term subacute rehab area, and that is for folks, let's say, again, 55 or older, but let's say you have a fractured hip, and you need a short-term stay in a long-term care setting before, between the hospital and going home. We provide that kind of service. We have a new medical director, Dr. Gerald Woodard, who I know has been in this community for 25 years. He is our new medical director. He's very active in our programs and our goals. So we're very, very excited about having him on board. And so we're just trying to do a lot of revitalizing. We're, over the next probably 8 to 12 months, we're going to be doing quite a bit of renovation, both within the buildings and outside the buildings. We'll be redoing all of the rooms in the healthcare center. And so some of those things are, really important to people. We talk a lot about the care, and that is the most important part. But for some folks, especially short-term rehab, they're like, I'm only here for a little bit, and I know you guys take really good care of me, but I'd rather have a flat screen TV, or I'd rather have this, or I'd rather have that. So, we understand that, and we need to meet that need. So we're getting all that in place and moving along with renovations. But we do have a lot of opportunities for folks who want to become involved with us.
Yes.
in ways other than, of course, being a resident. And there's a lot of ways you can assist us financially. There's ways you can assist us through your time and your efforts. We have, Char, as she said, is our resource development person. And there's things where you can come and say, I would like to spend so much money and purchase all the furniture in this particular resident room. There's ways you can provide funds that would go into an endowment that would help residents that can't afford private pay or can't afford all of their private pay. It assists them so that they can stay at Good Sam, and we actually use the interest from that endowment to help pay some of their rent. So there's a way to do that, go to the endowment. Pardon me, there's rehab equipment. You know, we always have something we need, and someone come in and say, well, I'd like to, you know, to donate some money. I don't have time, but I'd like to donate some money, but I want to be specific about it. I don't want to, you know, I want to know where it went. So there's a lot of opportunities to do that. But then we also have a lot of ways you can help us with your time and your efforts. We have our first time shot at what we're going to call our first annual. So we're hoping to do it every year. But this is our first annual Champions of Faith charity event. And I'm going to let Char talk about that.
We are holding this on March the 9th at the city's Schnebly Center, and we are inviting businesses, organizations, or just groups of friends to buy a table. It will be $25 a person or $200 a table. You come and decorate the table, and for that little bit of money that you're spending, you're going to hear Mark Spivey speak. He's amazing if you haven't heard Mark speak before. We are going to have a silent auction, and I have about 30 amazing gifts on that silent auction. We're going to have music, and we're trying to put the fun in fundraising. You've heard that before, and we're really trying to do that. And we're very excited about it. It's our first event, and we want it to be a sensational one that somebody looks forward to coming back next year again. So.
And I know you sent something out recently for those who just don't feel so inclined to decorate a table or whatever. If they want to just come to the event and support the event, that they can do that as well.
They can. We started out by saying invite a table, but, oh, I didn't even mention dinner. You just reminded me, you are going to eat there. Carefree Catering is going to be doing your dinner. I forgot all about dinner. We had so many people say, I want to come, but I don't have 8 people to invite, or I don't want to decorate a table. So we have decided that we can certainly put a white tablecloth on and a pretty decoration in the table and invite you to spend your $25 and enjoy the evening with us. And you'll meet a lot of people. You can market if you choose to, or you can just meet some friends.
And I would say to those who are members of organizations, you know, like our Rotaries out there and our Kiwanis clubs, and or any group that gets together, like the Daytona Beach Women's Connection, which is a Christian women's group that meets monthly. You know, any of those organizations that would love to either invest in a table and bring their members in so that they can support this great cause, this great facility that gives so much back to individuals or residents who show so much caring and love and just giving. If you would like to do that, then you can contact Char and let her know. And how best can they contact you?
Probably the easiest way is just to call Good Samaritan, 253-6791. That's easy to find, and just ask for me.
Okay, wonderful. And you had mentioned, because she, by the way, is out there, but you can't do it with just one person many times, but she is out there involved in all kinds of things, including the chamber and all kinds of other things that's going on in the community. But there are people who had been contacted about the fundraising that we were doing to replace the elevator. And that has since been replaced.
And that was a dream. It really was a dream. I mean, we raised $115,000 or $120,000, and quite frankly, when we started, I thought this can't be done. But with faith and God behind you,
oh, wow.
We have an elevator.
Wow. In fact, a lot of us didn't believe she'd do it either, I tell you. But she's a worker. She's a worker. But not only that, you know, as she said, with God behind you, but also when you have something that is an opportunity for people to really give, and you can see the results of your giving in helping others, what better effort to be behind than that? And we also have the prayer garden that we've been working on and building.
That too was
slowly.
a dream, and it was kind of roughshod there for a while. We were out there digging holes and bringing plants from home, and The city kindly gave us some poinsettias one year after Christmas, and now somebody's gonna build a gazebo for us, and a church put a cross in. And Gwen and I have both purchased a brick in memory of someone that we love, and I got an estimate to lay those today, so that too has taken shape. We have benches out there, we'll have a gazebo and a delightful place for people to go and contemplate, think, maybe even take a nap, who knows? But it's a beautiful little spot.
Oh, wonderful. And if you're a part of some group that has flowers you'd love to donate to the prayer garden or anything else like that, you can also get in touch with her and let her know what it is that you'd like to do. Because, you know, at this facility, our mothers are there, our fathers are there, our aunts, our elder sisters and elder brothers and the like. I've run into people that I actually went to high school with who found themselves in a disabled situation. They were in a higher class than I was, but they found themselves in need, and this was the place where they went to get the kind of treatment they wanted and needed. And to be in a place where they could be treated with such kindness and love, and that's what this facility does for those who find themselves there, and for those because I've talked with some individuals who are getting to the point where they said they just can't continue to stay in their home to keep up, you know, even in our area, Pelican Bay, you don't really have to do your lawn work, but there are little things that you do, whether you have to do it or not. You know, there are things that you do to kind of beautify your lawn and everything else, and they're reaching the point where they really don't have the energy or the time to do that, and they're checking out facilities and places where they would want to go. And I know that there are daughters and sons with elder parents that are looking for a place, and I would just ask that you consider O's Hall, Good Samaritan Center, the Good Samaritan Society. There are some commercials that have been playing on TV, and this is a great and awesome place where you would want to go and visit and just check it out. They do have prayer services as well that go on from different religions and the like, and just great opportunities. In fact, there was one activity that I was a part of. I was invited to be there and participate, and they took like a cruise. Do you remember the cruise? And you know, and they set everybody up like they were on the lawn deck, you know, on the deck where they're bringing around, you know, the drinks and all this kind of stuff. And they had all the things that you do for the fancy drinks and the like. Of course, it was non-alcoholic drinks, but you know. But the music was playing, and we were like, you know, doing the little Hawaiian dances and all of that kind of thing. And people, they just had so much fun, just so much fun. I tell you, I felt like I was on a cruise again or something. But it's that kind of caring and all that. I know you guys know that because you're there, but I'm just saying, for those who haven't been there, these are the types of things that go on at this location, in the facilities.
And I'm thinking some of your listeners are.
Oh gosh, I gotta say real quick, you're listening to Truth with Gwen Azama-Edwards. I always in and this is Truth with Gwen Azama-Edwards. Again, my guests are from O's Hall, Good Samaritan Center, and we do want you to give a listen. But this is WLE 1380 AM on your radio dial in Ormond Beach, Florida. It's also BigJohn1380.com and Goliath Radio. We got all kinds of names, you know. Big can't decide what he is or who he is. But anyway, WLA 1380 on your radio dial in Ormond Beach, Florida.
I was just going to mention that some of your listeners may be familiar with us because we do Meals on Wheels twice a week. Our staff does Meals on Wheels and goes to the home of those that can't get out, so some of your listeners may know some of us.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. And really, not just y'all, but the staff really do get involved in the community. There's a lot that they do. And at Christmas time, you have the angel
we sure do
things for the children in the
we
giving.
collect food for the needy, and we have gifts for the children that are not able to, maybe their families can't come up with just what they want, so they give us a wish, and we go with that as well.
Wonderful. So when they say that they are a part of the community, they are definitely a part of the community. And you know, for those who are a part of us, we need to be a part of them. And show that support and show that love. Now, I know there are other things that we have not yet covered.
I think one of the things that our chaplain says all the time in a memorial service is so true. He said, "We're not here because it's a job. We're here because we were called."
Mm-hmm.
And I believe that to be
Calling.
true.
Yes,
I
absolutely.
believe that to be true.
Some of the other services we provide, and I think it's important for folks to know too, is we also can provide outpatient therapy. We have an excellent therapy department. It's one of the keystones of our short-term rehab. They do a marvelous job. I have physicians that won't send anybody anywhere but to our therapy, and we can also do outpatient therapy. So, you know, if you don't want to go to the hospital, whatever the case may be, under Medicare Part B, generally that can be covered in any setting. So that's another opportunity we have with the community. And I think you're just going to see a lot of activity going on our little city block, pardon me, over the next 8 to 12 months, and we're really excited about that. I think we're also, when you start talking about assisted living, kind of go back there a little bit, there's a number of different facilities throughout the area, and they all provide excellent service, but there's different levels of that service. And the one thing that we also provide is we have an LPN, and actually having a nurse each day of the week. They're there from 6 to 10, or 6 to 2 for the entire shift. It's a real help, because then you do have a nurse who's seeing somebody every day. They don't, it's not they're just coming in once a week. And we may extend that service at some point to be around the clock, we're not sure. It's going to depend on what the needs are of our residents, but it's really been a very big help to have that person there. So you put that with the technology we have, it's a pretty powerful thing as far as assisting our residents with their quality of life. And we've already done a number of things in our healthcare center. We've done a little bit of remodeling, and we just have a very unique group of residents. They're just a joy. We have an aviary, and one of our residents sits there and talks to the birds frequently during the day, and she draws them and stuff. And so they just all have so many different interests. And I think our activity department that we refer to now is lifestyles. Our lifestyles department just tries to do as much as we can, even to the point of taking some of our residents from our healthcare center. They go out to lunch once a month. So we, trying to get them out of the building and trying to do things, because we do have the unfortunate situation where some families have brought their loved ones there and then kind of forgot they were there. So that's where volunteers are really helpful, people that are coming in, even just to sit and speak with somebody. We have a lot of very, very interesting people that live there. And
yeah, you're not just sitting there talking to an elderly person. You're not. You're getting a story that is
yes,
amazing.
The history. Wow.
It's just amazing what some of them have done. And on Veterans Day, I'm always amazed on Veterans Day. We have 30 or 40 veterans in there, and I mean, take your hat off to those people. They may be elderly now, but they got stories that will keep you. You'll leave there amazed at. I think often you get more out of your visit than what you have given them.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And I know when I volunteered, and sometimes there were times when I could not be there, and I try to get people to fill in for them. And I was fortunate enough to get one of the individuals who served on our advisory board to do so. But when I was looking before I found him, some people would say, "Oh, I just find it so difficult to be around those older people. They're just like sitting around waiting to die." That's not the case. It's a facility, that is not the case. And the other thing is that I found, and the person who would sit in for me from time to time found too, the history, as you've mentioned, the history and the mindset of these individuals. I mean, they could talk to you about the war, the wars that they had experienced, but also growing up on a farm and what it was really like. And one of them was actually even trying to tell me about how to milk a cow and the right way to ride a horse, and all the other things that some of us living in Florida may not have experienced. But there are things that they have that they've gone through, people that they've met. I mean, there was a
They
gentleman.
may not remember yesterday, but what they told you was very factual.
Absolutely, because you had an individual who used to be a chef for a couple of presidents.
That's correct.
of the United States. I mean, and he could tell you about the different meals that they liked and didn't like and all this type of thing. I mean, you really are exposed to, and you get as much out of giving in your time and your efforts to the individuals there as you know, as you give, you get as much back. So it's just an awesome experience. And so for those who would like to volunteer their time in whatever regard, and there are, you know, from time to time there are also positions where you hire people.
Yes, there are, and again, some of the things that we could use help with, if you do feel uncomfortable and you're not sure, we need some painting done outside. There's raised gardens that can be built. Maybe you have a Boy Scout troop that's looking for a project. We have power washing that can be done. There's always something, even just say managing one of the gardens that we have and making sure it's always, you know, livened up and has the right stuff in it and weeded and so forth. So there's a lot of things that people can help us with, and we would appreciate 5 minutes or 5 hours, whatever works, and I know all of our residents would as well.
Oh, absolutely, and we all know about cutbacks and, you know, where there's not enough money for this, that, or the other, but there's always an opportunity to give back and to do something to help, because we know as adults, we know we enjoy seeing things, you know, freshly painted. We enjoy looking at wonderful flowers, the different colorings of flowers, the changes of the seasons and the like. And, you know, these are human beings that enjoy the same things that we do. And if, to the extent that we're able to give of our time and efforts or funds or whatever else, you know, it's great to be able to do that. I remember this show, watching this show about paying forward. And one of the reasons that I enjoyed so much going and doing the reading program, I'm trying not to cry for this, but the reading program at the facility was, I saw that as an opportunity to pay forward, because I had been so blessed. My mother had been in such great health. Last few years, couple of years or so of her life, she was not in as great a health, but she had her mind, you know, she did a lot of talking on the phone and stuff like that, but she couldn't walk as much. But for the time and the skills and the medical knowledge that she was able to harness in terms of the doctor she'd visit and the kindnesses that people showed to her, I just felt that, you know, by my doing that for others, it increased the opportunities and the availability of that for her. And I found that that was just so much the case. So I had the opportunity of kind of paying forward in my giving and my sharing of my time and efforts and activities at the facility, such that my mom was able to get what she needed in a very courteous and warm and loving way by my doing the same for others. And I think that works, and I felt the same way when I worked with the Guardian Ad Litem program and working with young people, that I was paying forward, that by my giving of my time and my efforts and activities in helping those kids that were abused and in some way neglected, which my children were not, but I was blessed that they weren't, that I was there for them. But as they were away at, you know, at their college or university, as they were in their work setting and the like, people were nice to them, they were courteous, they were, you know, generous with their time and their efforts. So that was a way of my paying forward and giving back when they were getting. And I think if we had more people who thought that way, you know, a lot of times people like to just give because it's the right thing to do, but if that's not enough of a reason for you to do it, then think about, you know, like paying forward, where you're giving and doing so that your loved ones can also receive some of that giving and doing and love and caring and sharing from others as well. And, you know, it's those types of things that make the world such a much better place, isn't it? It, as the world goes around, it makes that time that it's spending be so much more positive and productive for individuals. And I just think it's awesome. We're here on this earth for a purpose and for a reason. And the world turns so much nicer and better and lovingly for all of us when we are able to share and show love for others. So that's what O's Hall Good Samaritan Center, Good Samaritan Society enables you to do. So it's my hope that many of you out there who are listening, who are part of organizations or you yourself, that you will contact Shara and others at the Good Samaritan Center, O's Hall, and ask them, you know, what do you need? What can I do? This is what I have to offer. And they're going to say, good, we'd love to have you. This is
That's right, that's right.
whatever you can do, we welcome it. Just, you know, bring it in. We welcome it, and we would love to have you do it, and then our residents would love it as well. If you would give them again your contact information and mention again the fundraiser that's coming up.
Champions of Faith 2013 will be on March 9th. Call the center for more information, and actually I'll be happy to come out and bring it to you. So just call and ask for Charbaran. Actually, if you just call there and tell them what you want, we'll find the right person for you if you're not good at remembering names. And I do want to say, we have one lady that volunteers 1 day a week. You don't have to give us 40 hours. And we do get donations of $5. You don't have to give us big amounts. We appreciate anything that anybody gives us because it's from their heart normally.
Absolutely. And what's the number again?
253-6791.
And that's 386-253.
6791.
And I mention that because, believe it or not, I have listeners that listen from other countries even. It's by way of the internet and the like, but they do that, and there's no, you don't have to just live here to be able to give here and share here and work with us. You know, you can have someone actually from out. You actually have people come and check from out of state.
We do, and we have we have the capability of doing what we call respite care. So let's say somebody wants to go on vacation or something like that. We actually have respite. We can do an assisted living. Oh my!
Wow.
There we go. We're good, I guess.
Yes.
Must be living somewhere. That we can do in assisted living, the healthcare center, and independent. I mean, we can make those arrangements. But the nice thing that you might want to consider if you're not here in the States is some of our residents could use a pen pal. And you know, they would probably find your information interesting, and you may find theirs. So that's one thing. And you know, as I say, we have a computer, and we can always get a camera. We could always have people Skyping. There's a lot of things we're trying to do. We're just trying to find other folks that are interested in working with us to do that. But I think some of our residents just, Skyping would be very interesting for them because they just cannot imagine how you could be talking to somebody and seeing them. So, you know, there might be a computer guru out there who wants to talk to us. We can use a lot of different talents. Would be.
And I think we would be remiss if we didn't thank Gwen and all the other board members. We have an amazing advisory board.
We do.
Very active. I mean, we ask them to come once a month to a meeting, but we hear from them a whole lot more than that.
Oh,
and
yes.
They provide us with a lot of their time and their efforts, and it truly is appreciated. They're sort of our cheerleaders in the community, and we really do appreciate that.
And you also get, I love it when you have the young people who come and visit, you know, once or twice a year, and also the groups that come from some other states who actually come here and give of their time and efforts, who are associated with some Christian organizations and the like. You know, there are people who complain about life and the fact that, you know, people are just so nasty, so terrible, so this, so that. But if you want to experience the way life was meant to be and should be, then you really should get involved and associate yourself with O's Hall Good Samaritan Center, Good Samaritan Society, because you will see what life is supposed to be like in terms of our giving, in terms of our humanitarianism, in terms of just us people being people and people helping people, right?
Absolutely right, yes.
As you guys can tell, I'm a big fan. I am a big fan of this facility. I'm a big fan of the services that they provide. I'm just a big fan of what they can do and will do and do for their residents. So again, and if you have any questions, you know, get with me. I will be at I will be there March 9th, right?
Yep.
And so come on out if you want to, you know, you don't run into me anywhere else, you want to run into me there, you know, pay $25 and just come on out and let's sit and talk and share. And we do appreciate all of our listeners. We thank you for joining us on this Thursday, Valentine's Day in 2013, February 14th. And we want you to be sure again to go to the website, www.gwen-truth.com. And again, until next time, be informed, be empowered, and always, always, always stand tall for that which is right and that which is truthful. Again, you've been listening to Truth with Gwen Azama-Edwards, and with my guest, again, from the Olds Hall Good Samaritan Center, Good Samaritan Society. And we do want you to continue to just keep smiling, keep loving, keep sharing, keep giving, and know that it's always a better day when you do that, when you pay forward. You be blessed and have a great week.
Thank you.
A Wedding Zone with Lisa Marie Benz, brought to you by The Perfect Wedding Guide. Available here at the WELE Studios and most wedding vendors from Brevard to
They can choose
Duke.
the right coverage and the right price for you from a selection of the world's leading insurers.
So you
Mullen
did
&
that.
Company Insurance Services offers policies to cover practically every possible circumstance.
Yes, something happened.